with potentially destructive winds starting again, LA officials are warning residents be prepared to leave immediately. But the city has not issued any new guidelines, even after last week's chaotic evacuations.
Ahead of this latest event, you have businesses that are proactively closing, essentially treating this event like it was a hurricane or a blizzard. If they are taking those steps, why are you not implementing broader closures right now to keep your constituents safe?
We are doing everything we can to keep Angelenos safe. If there is a need for closures, that will be done. But right now, we are in preparation for tomorrow.
That preparation includes a massive influx of boots on the ground. More than 15,000 firefighters are now in place, compared to fewer than 1,500 when the fires started.
All fire departments and all law enforcement agencies in the area will be prepared.
And that preparation has already paid off, with an all-out aerial assault over the weekend of water and flame retardant. We saw only one home burn, but so many others were saved.
And wind gusts are expected to exceed 70 miles per hour. That's enough to fan any hotspot, and there are many of them, into a massive blaze, Nora.
Jonathan Vigliotti, thank you for your tireless reporting. And while wind conditions allow, more than 80 planes and helicopters are being used to battle the Southern California wildfires, military aircraft have flown in to help from Canada, Nevada, Wyoming, and Colorado. Tonight, CBS's Rob Marciano shows us the impact of fighting fire from the sky.
The aerial attack to beat back the wildfires is now at a critical stage. As Santa Ana winds return, new fires could explode. The attack from above is crucial to knock down any blaze, and more large aircraft have arrived on scene. These C-130 military transport planes have been modified specifically to fight wildfires.
On this C-130, the door where paratroopers normally would jump out of the aircraft has been modified with this giant water cannon,
blasting out 3,000 gallons of water in just 5 seconds. They also dropped red fire retardant, which now coats some LA neighborhoods. Canadian-made amphibious aircraft, known as Super Scoopers, able to scoop up 1,600 gallons in one 12-second skim off the Pacific Ocean and dump it on the flames. Lieutenant Colonel Laura Jeffrey is a pilot with the Wyoming Air National Guard.
You're trying to get as close to the flames as you can.
Correct. We're 150 feet off the ground.
150 feet. That sounds very dangerous to me with this sort of load.
It is. It's very dangerous. This is the most dangerous flying that we do.
Rotary aircraft can get even closer to the flames.
This is one of CAL FIRE's newer helicopters. It's a modified Black Hawk that can hold up to 1,000 gallons of water, fly day or night. It is essential to fighting fire. But as these winds ramp up, it's not going anywhere.
CAL FIRE's Zach Boyce coordinates flight ops during the mission.
You ever feel pressure from the ground where they need your help and you can't?
I think there's always pressure. I think we want to get out there and support the guys on the ground as much as we can, but we also need to have a good safety sense in mind.
They want to get out there, but the threshold is more than just wind. It's terrain, it's turbulence. Certainly the fixed-wing aircraft, like the ones behind me, are a little bit more stable. There are 8 of these specialized C-130s from across 4 states, and they are all here in one place. That is unprecedented, and even they may be grounded if the winds get high enough. Let's talk about that. We've got the red flag warning that you mentioned, a PDS warning in this area in Ventura as well. From Santa Barbara all the way down to San Diego. Tomorrow's going to be a dangerous day. The winds will be building. We've already seen 30, 40 plus mile an hour winds here. We'll see them continue to build to 50, 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour by about noontime tomorrow. Couple that with low levels of humidity, and we're talking about not just critical fire danger, but extremely critical fire weather danger here in Ventura and northern parts of Los Angeles County. It has been a long week, but the next 24 hours, once again, are going to be very dangerous across Southern California.
Frightening situation, Rob Marciano. Thank you very much. At least 24 people have died in these fires so far, including these 6 victims. And as their loved ones deal with the agony of loss, there are other families suffering from the agony of the unknown. Nearly 24 people are missing, most from the site of the Eaton fire. CBS's Elise Preston reports.
Amid the devastation, authorities are carrying out the grim task of searching for those who died.
Unfortunately, every day we're doing this, we're running across the remains of individual community members.
The days have been agonizing for families of the missing, including those looking for Miva Friedli.
We want to find her.
Family members say they have not heard from the 86-year-old mother and grandmother who immigrated to the U.S. from Costa Rica and has lived in the same Altadena home for 50 years. Betty Brown is her niece.
You're calling people and checking and see where they are?
We just started calling people and everybody was looking, and all of a sudden we realized, wait a minute, where's Miva? What happened to Miva?
The large, close-knit family lives within blocks of each other. Her nephew, Victor Wheatley, went to see if his aunt was okay during the initial moments of the fire, never imagining flames would sweep through the community.
What was the last thing she said to you when you went to go check on her?
She was just so appreciative that we came and how much she loved us. And if I had known what I know now, I would have gotten her out the house.
Frantic relatives say they've been looking everywhere for Miva, even in the rubble where her house once stood.
You're just trying to find this person and you're seeing nothing. You're seeing a lot of ash, a lot of smoke, a lot of stuff, but no person.
We want to find her. Yeah. And there's a hopeful way, and then there's a way of reality, but we need to know.
The family has lost 7 homes in the fire, and it's displaced 21 relatives. But they can't even focus on those losses until they know what happened to their loved one. Nora? Just heartbreaking. Elise Preston, thank you so much. Turning now to the Middle East, today President Biden said a temporary ceasefire deal for Gaza is on the brink of being finalized as negotiations continue in Qatar. Senior Israeli officials tell CBS News they've agreed to a 6-week truce. 33 of their hostages would be released, as would some Palestinians now held in Israeli jails. The Israeli military would establish a buffer zone in southern Gaza for security purposes. Hamas leadership has yet to sign off on the deal. The president's comments on Gaza comes as he aims to improve his image and tout his foreign policy achievements. President Biden said America is stronger now on the global stage than it was 4 years ago. Here's CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
President Biden today claimed the country's stronger because of his work to expand NATO, support Ukraine, withdraw U.S. forces from Afghanistan, and take on China.
These wins are not partisan. They're American. They benefit all Americans.
Word of a potential ceasefire in Gaza would help resolve one of the major remaining challenges of the Biden years.
I have learned in many years of public service to never, ever give up.
It's a sign of potential hope for a region mired in war and human suffering since the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel. More than 46,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to the Hamas-run Palestinian Ministry of Health.
Palestinian people deserve peace and the right to determine their own futures. Israel deserves peace and real security.
The conflict jolted the presidential campaign, with many progressive Democrats upset Biden continued to send arms to Israel, while also complaining about their aggressive military tactics. The president discussed the latest deal with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday, and President-elect Trump's aides have now joined the talks in the region. He's demanding the release of the hostages before his inauguration.
If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East.
Today, Biden acknowledged his legacy, especially in the Middle East and Ukraine, may now be shaped by Trump.
My administration is leaving the next administration with a very strong hand to play. And we're leaving them in America with more friends and stronger alliances.
In his remarks on Afghanistan, the president only briefly mentioned the 13 U.S. service members who died in the suicide bombing at the Kabul airport during the withdrawal of U.S. forces, widely seen as one of the darkest moments of his presidency. Nora?
Ed O'Keefe at the White House. Thank you, Ed. In just 7 days, Donald Trump begins his second term as president. And there's a flurry of activity this week at the Capitol as confirmation hearings begin for a dozen of his picks for top jobs. CBS's Nancy Cordes reports on one nomination that's facing trouble.
I'm 110% behind Pete Hudson.
In the Senate version of a pep rally, Alabama Republican Tommy Tuberville sought to boost Pete Hegseth's chances today, praising him alongside some former Navy SEALs.
Pete is definitely, that breath of fresh air when it comes to the Department of Defense.
Tomorrow, the former Fox News host will undergo a grilling by members of the Senate Armed Services Committee who want to know more about allegations of past excessive drinking, sexual misconduct, and financial mismanagement at a pair of veterans groups from which he was let go. Democrats are pushing for access to the FBI's background check on Hegseth. So far, as per tradition, that information has only been shared with committee leaders.
I'm told that they may well not have interviewed his ex-spouses or the accuser. I think that is a gap in the FBI report, if true.
Hegseth has denied any sexual misconduct.
The matter was fully investigated, and I was completely cleared.
And says he won't drink at all if confirmed.
Does he have your vote for tomorrow?
Oh, he does, unless there's something that comes up that we don't know.
He is one of a dozen Trump picks who have hearings scheduled over the next 3 days. Some, like Florida Senator Marco Rubio, up for Secretary of State, are expected to sail through.
Here in Florida today, a federal judge cleared the way for the release of part of Special Counsel Jack Smith's report. The report details the investigation into Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Nora?
Nancy Cordes, thank you. The frightening close call between two planes, that's next.